Man has sinned. Eve took of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, ate, gave to Adam, he ate. Thus sin entered the world. God said, don't do that. Eve knew that God said, don't do that, and said, if we do, we will die. That's what God said. And the serpent said to Eve, no, you won't die. And Eve believed the serpent and went against the command of God, deciding for herself what was good and what was evil. The definition of good and evil belongs to God. If he says it's good, it's good. If he said it's evil, it's evil. And man choosing what is good and what is evil rather than allowing that to be God's decision is the ultimate in pride and selfishness. That was the sin. There is a footnote in the 1966 Jerusalem Bible that I think is relevant, and let me just read it. This knowledge is a privilege which God reserves to himself and which man, by sinning, is to lay hands on. Hence, it does not mean omniscience, which fallen man does not possess, nor is it moral discrimination, for unfallen man already had it, and God could not refuse it to a rational being. It is the power of deciding for himself what is good and what is evil and acting accordingly, a claim to complete moral independence by which man refuses to recognize his status as a created being. The first sin was an attack on God's sovereignty, a sin of pride. So it is the ability to decide between right and wrong that Adam and Eve now had basically taken from what was rightfully Jehovah God's sole domain. And as we are here thousands of years later, nothing has changed. I've shown you this clip before.
In an evolved society, we need an evolved Bible. There are laws and standards in the existing Bible that are simply outdated. Of course, we all would prefer that God would make the revisions. Of course, I would be happy to advise him if I could.